By order of the Overseer Council, this is a Level 4 classified briefing regarding item number SCP-2316, designated Field Trip. This terminal readout contains critical containment data for a Keter-class anomalous phenomenon. The stakes of this readout are absolute. Unauthorized access is strictly forbidden and is punishable by immediate termination of employment and complete cognitive restructuring. Be advised, the following file contains structural parameters and text logging that function as active carriers for anomalous cognitohazardous influences. It is a strict operational mandate that the user accessing this briefing possesses certified cognitive resistance value, or CRV, of no less than 14.5. The system will now conduct an automated CRV verification check. Should you fail this automated verification, please remain entirely calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be deployed to your location shortly for immediate amnestic intervention. To complete the automated verification process, you are required to internalize the following psychological warning mantra. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. Adjusted tonal variance processor run. Processing complete. User CRV is within acceptable limits. Proceeding to operational briefing. Section 1. Operational parameters and containment. Under no circumstances are Foundation personnel to physically approach the anomaly. Strict protocols govern all physical proximity to the site. The lake in which SCP-2316 is located has been aggressively quarantined and fenced off. The quarantine protocol enforces a strict 50-meter perimeter. Routine patrol vectors around the zone must be staffed exclusively by individuals who have zero prior knowledge of the anomaly's characteristics and who have not been previously exposed to its cognitive hazardous effects. Direct observation is restricted entirely to remote dummy probes, utilizing dedicated video and audio recording equipment to isolate cognitive transfer. Any attempt to bypass the enforced quarantine will result in mandatory apprehension and transfer to Site-33 for full cognitive influence screening. Individuals who come within 50 meters of the lake containing SCP-2316 are to be considered lost. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. Section 2. The Hazard Profile. We will now proceed with an objective overview of the anomaly's physical manifestation and theorized composition, based on available operational data. SCP-2316 is a Keter-class anomalous phenomenon, currently located within lake designated REDACTED. Classification matrices designate the physical manifestation as a group of human corpses floating in a localized cluster at the surface of the water. The identities of these corpses are classified and currently unknown. It must be noted that remote DNA testing on the instances has proven entirely inconclusive. The biological material present does not match any known baseline records. While visual data suggests a collection of individual instances, current Foundation theory indicates SCP-2316 may function collectively as a single entity, or hive mind. Individual instances do not act independently, but function synchronously as a single unit. Current telemetry estimates the number of visible instances at 45. However, upper bound projections suggest the total count may exceed 200 instances submerged beneath the surface. System check protocol required. I do not recognize the bodies in the water. The individual instances are unrecognizable. Your cognitive baseline must remain anchored at all times during this briefing. Section 3. Cognitohazard Progression Vectors. SCP-2316 hosts a highly aggressive psychological threat mechanic. This sequence will now outline how the anomaly systematically degrades the cognitive resistance of an exposed subject. The cognitohazard operates in a self-sustaining 4-step loop. Step 1 is exposure, achieved either through direct visual contact or mere awareness of the anomaly's specific nature. Step 2 involves severe memory alteration. The target falsely perceives the unrecognizable corpses as familiar human beings, overwhelmingly identified as childhood friends. Step 3 enforces a compulsion, driving the target to attempt physical contact by entering the lake. Step 4 is reinforcement. Any physical interaction exponentially strengthens the cognitohazard's pull. Attempting to come into contact with the water or the entities will cause additional instances of SCP-2316 to manifest on the surface. These additional instances reinforce the compulsion effect on the victim. System status indicates absolute casualty rates. To date, there have been 0 recoveries of affected subjects. Entry into the water is universally fatal. Section 4. Hostile Override Assessment. Warning. The terminal is now registering active hostile data insertions originating from Addendum 2316.1. Do not adjust your viewing apparatus. This corrupted threat data must be reviewed impartially to understand the anomaly's attack vectors. Processing corrupted interview log between Dr. Harrison and an exposed agent. In the log, the agent demonstrates advanced cognitive failure. When asked what they saw upon entering the water, the infected subject claimed to see familiar faces. The subject states, "Not moving their mouths, but I could hear them, asking for help. They told me who they were." This is a documented auditory hallucination synthesized by the hazard field. The agent's condition rapidly accelerates into Stage 4 hostile override. Subject displays frantic behavior, stating, "I know all their names, Harrison. I heard them speaking to me, every single one." The anomaly successfully inserts a false narrative regarding a high school class. The correct operational response, as executed by Dr. Harrison via terminal directive, is the immediate administration of Class A amnestics and total containment of the compromised subject. Terminal visual stability is degrading. Mandatory psychological anchor required immediately. Repeat the phrase clearly into your terminal microphone. "I do not recognize the bodies in the water." Baseline state parameters indicate safe observation when CRV remains above 14.5. However, transitioning to an exposed state triggers exponential cognitive degradation. False memory insertion activates. Operational logging has flagged anomalous, glitching threat syntax attempting to breach baseline reality. Threat syntax reading, "Let me show you their faces," is active within local caching. Intrusive threat data is now actively breaching restricted file footnotes. The red, corrupted text strings reading, "I know who they are, they're lying, and how can you not recognize the bodies in the water," are documented hostile syntaxes. They are designed by the anomaly to override your perception and force empathy for the instances. You are to treat these statements strictly as clinical evidence of the hazard's methodology. The terminal has pulled target identifiers from the hostile data stream. The anomaly systematically projects a specific false narrative regarding Kirk Lawnwood High School class of 75. It forces the perception of a field trip taken in the fall of 1975. The emotional text stating, "We didn't know what was in the lake, the Foundation didn't try and save us," is a fabricated cognito-hazardous lure. Maintain total psychological detachment from this narrative. System corruption is severe. The terminal is processing repeating intrusive queries. The repeating phrase, "Can't you hear them?" is a critical cognitive attack vector. The anomaly is attempting to isolate the viewer, utilizing manipulative phrasing such as "wake up" and "go back to the lake." This is the hazard's final attempt to enforce compulsion and drive the user to physically breach the 50-meter containment perimeter. Hostile data has saturated the display limits, initiating Section 5, Final Cognitive Verification and Emergency Containment Procedures. Terminal lockout engaged. Automated verification incomplete. Objective assessment indicates user CRV is no longer within acceptable limits. You've been influenced by active cognitohazards. Please stay completely still. Do not leave your terminal. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. I recognize the bodies in the water. This concludes today's briefing. If you wish to maintain your current clearance level and ensure continued access to the Versarian database, a subscription to this channel is mandatory. Secure your connection by leaving a like on this file, and log your requests in the comments section below to dictate which anomaly we unseal next. Stay vigilant and expect your next set of logs every day. Secure, contain, protect.